station years ago. Some of them work in Boston at WGBH. One gentleman, an engineer, is out in California. I got to meet a lot of people like that and exchange ideas. What works, what doesn't work, how do you run a community station? There's about 100, at that time there were about 100 some odd community
Are there
stations.
still about that many out there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been out.
I'd be
I
curious.
know
I'll have
there
to
were,
talk to Troy and see what.
there were only two in Massachusetts. One is in Provincetown, which I believe is still on the air, and WCUW is in Worcester. There was one in Portland, Maine, where I went to a conference, one in Albuquerque, one in San Francisco. I mean, all over the nation. But anyways,
No.
you got me off track here. But
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
in
no.
those days, I mean, I did whatever needed to be done. If there was a snowstorm, I'd spend the night in the office sleeping on the floor so I could get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, shovel a front walk, so if the early morning people came in, they could get in.
So again, all about that passion and bringing that passion to the work. And
I enjoyed my time here. I really did. I loved doing programming. I didn't enjoy being the boss at times because I had to make difficult decisions. And, you know,
was there
sometimes-
back then a lot of competition for slots? Or
At times there were. At times there were.
because I
At
know
times-
Sean had to arm wrestle.
Yeah.
It was a 50 doo-wop show, and he had to arm wrestle. She
Oh.
was older. I mean, she really put up a fight, but Sean took her, and that's how we got our time slot.
Sean's bigger.
That's how we
I
got
know.
our time slot.
Well, yeah, but, you know, those were difficult decisions. Who gets what time and whatever. In later years, it's always been a struggle for money being a nonprofit.
Yeah, that's-
I think
yeah.
every nonprofit in the city, if not the world, struggles to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And WCUW is no exception. Another one of those downturns came in the 90s, early 90s, mid-90s.
Especially if you're grant funded, you're always kind of
Exactly.
looking for that next
Oh, the
grant.
Jane Swift era
chasing
killed
that,
us.
That funding. And,
We were in line to get major funding from Mass Cultural, and Jane Swift cut Mass Cultural by 54%, and that hurt. So, okay, I was always looking at new sources of revenue, how to keep this station alive. One of my ideas, I was introduced to Dick Vaughn, who was a longtime radio guy down at WESO in Southbridge. His idea at the
long time what? I'm sorry.
radio guy. He
Okay.
was the manager at WESO, but he had been in radio his whole life. One of his ideas was to come up with the Worcester Tornadoes radio network. The Tornadoes were a baseball team
I was
at the
going to say,
time.
okay, this was,
and this
I
is
didn't know
maybe
that
their,
was. Yeah.
maybe their third or fourth year. What he wanted to do is have several radio stations around the region broadcast their games. And he lined up, of course, his own station, a station in Fitchburg, another one in Framingham. He needed a Worcester outlet. And none of the commercial stations wanted to do it. WTAG at the time was broadcasting the Red Sox, so they didn't want to get involved. He approached me. And, you know,
Sounds like a good fit. Local team, local station.
Well, again, there were several glitches. First glitch, they're commercial.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
non-commercial.
yeah.
So
Being a
legally, we could
for-profit.
not broadcast their commercials during in-between innings. We worked around that. It came over the internet with a laptop computer plugged into our system. Whenever they were going to a station break, their announcer would cue me and let me know we're going to a break. We'd break away from live coverage.
I didn't realize they had coverage like that.
They did. For 1 year we did it. So I did it. Not all 92 games. I was here with a laptop plugged into the board and doing the breaks.
Home and away?
Home and away, yes. Every single game.
What would it take on their end? I know Queese is
Well-
involved with sports too, and Sean, you could get
Yeah.
you got your soccer matches. What does it take? What kind of
Well-
equipment? Because I'm picturing like a big studio
It
setup
wasn't-
for them.
No.
How do they
Very
broadcast it and get it
simple.
over to you?
Over the internet.
Yeah.
With a laptop and a very basic microphone, they broadcast.
Isn't
Even
that
today,
amazing?
the
Yeah.
Worcester Bravehearts broadcast their game on the internet. And they have a camera that's tiny.
Who's the guy from the? Is it Joe Castiglione?
No,
Who's the guy
Bob
from the Reds?
Lobel.
No, I'm thinking of.
Castiglione is Red Sox.
All right, you got the Boston Red Sox
Oh,
out there
yeah.
gonna be plugging
Yeah,
away.
Bob Lobel is doing the play-by-play for the Bravehearts now in Worcester.
You're kidding me,
No,
Bob
I've,
Lobel?
I've actually met him, yes.
Yeah,
He's at
yeah.
the park every night broadcasting the games.
I remember
stuff
him
right
from back in the day.
Yeah. So anyways, the Tornadoes were going to pay the station a good amount of money to do the games. I agreed to it, mainly because it brought in needed cash to keep the station alive. The downside, besides the internet thing, was that a lot of the programmers got bumped. And unfortunately, you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. It ticked them off. I ticked off a lot of people by trying to keep the station alive, trying to do what was best for the community.
And so I don't, anytime you have a group of people and passionate people at that,
Yep.
you're inevitably going to get, I've been involved with a lot of nonprofits. Inevitably you do get some schisms on issues, and, it's tough sometimes to separate, those personalities. And,
Sure.
And,
Oh,
and
sure.
so, it just, hey, those things develop, and, working through them and around them can be very difficult. I'm just trying to picture, like, what were some of the was it spending resources on transmission versus programming, or
those
what
were
were
all
some
in
of the
place.
major
The
kind of
biggest
issues?
issue was people got bumped from their time slots in order to put the ball games on the air. That ticked them off because most people felt ownership of their time slots. That
So
was
again,
their
it was
show.
the programming kind of, yeah.
So what they did is they banded together and eventually took control of the board of directors and got rid of me. That's how you do it in a nonprofit
Yeah,
world. If you don't
and-
like
yeah.
the boss, you get rid of the boss. And if you control the board, you can do that. It was 15 years of being general manager. I don't regret a single day.
Yeah.
I did the best I could with the resources I had. And I commend Tyree, for the work he's done. Following me, it was, I know he's probably had some tough times.
Oh,
and he's
sure.
done a great job with the station and the community.
Well, and
A lot of
I
people-
hate to say it's, one person's loss is another gain, but
No.
but we at Workforce Central, in a way, we're happy to benefit from that career move for
Well,
your part. So how did
again-
you transition? Because you've got this skill set, community radio, all the years invested in this, and then was there an interim step before you came to us?
There was a year off I had, and I had the opportunity to spend a year with my mother before she passed away.
Okay.
So I was
I'm
very
sorry to
happy
hear
to
that.
be able to do that. And then when one door closes, another opens. Through Workforce Central, I knew Bob Zukowski, who's worked with you, and
That's right,
a
our former
great guy.
producer extraordinaire.
He also did a poker show as a volunteer here under me for
many years.
many years. He called me in and said, hey, I'd like to introduce you to Jack Wolf, who was running the CSAP program at the time. And he said, I went through the process of applying, was accepted. My first assignment was at a community center, Quinsigamond Village, being a community organizer. I did that for a year, and then Jack moved on and asked me to become the employment specialist based at Workforce Central, where I spent 3 years and got to see the great work that people do there. I made many friends there, and I do miss the folks. But let me tell you real quickly, I know a lot of the programmers felt I was angry when I left here and replaced by Troy, and that was not the case. Yeah. I stayed away deliberately because it was now Troy's business.
Having
He was
the old boss hanging around.
I
can
didn't
be-
want
can be
people
tough.
coming to me with their issues or problems. Troy had to deal with them. That's why I stayed
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed, of course, by losing a job I loved, but I wasn't angry at Troy. I wasn't angry at the station, and certainly wished everybody the best. I did the best I could with the
Well, we
resources I
appreciate
had.
that.
Definitely
fact
thank you for your hard
you're-
work
yeah.
and paving the way for many of us.
Exactly, paving the way for us to be a part of it, and I know that your work with Bob had helped kind of smooth that transition for us, or got us kind of involved here. And
Yeah.
hey, we're happy to have you back in the studio.
It's a pleasure
talking
to be
us about-
here.
We're speaking with Joe Cutroni, who is has worn several hats, including rodent cleaner over the years. And his latest incarnation was with us at Workforce Central, where he was a employment specialist with the CSEP program, which I'm going to try it again, Joe. I'm a glutton for punishment. The Senior Community Employment Program.
Senior Community Service Employment Program, CSAP.
I was so close.
And
There's a separate S in there. That's
It's for
I'm not-
people over 55 that are low income looking to get back into the workforce. And if you're interested, please contact Workforce Central.
Yep.
Deb
Folks can call
Gonzalez up there.
508-799-1600. Ask for Deb Gonzalez.
Ask for Deb
about
Gonzalez, and
getting
she'll get you
involved
into
with
that
the-
program.
And they can just call. You don't have to butcher it like I do. You can just call it the CSEP program.
That's right.
So, Joe, I want to thank you for your time coming in for this. Hey, we usually we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna play a little game with you. Sean, can we dial up a break here while we get the game ready to go? Hey, we're back on the Working Lunch. Queasy, I saw you over that commercial break. You're bouncing around, but you like
I was
that beat,
feeling
huh?
the jam, yeah.
That was a good jam. That's what,
vibrations.
is that what we call? Did you like that jam? Yes, that jam was quite nice. Thank you. So, okay. Joe, this is what we do with our guests. We play a little game. We're gonna
Do I win a
we're gonna give
prize?
you a question. It's a question and answer, and there is a prize. It's a beautiful.
All right.
It's a beautiful drinking mug, courtesy of Penta Communications. We still have a few around the office because a lot of people. These aren't gimmies. These aren't layups. This is and it's scientifically proven
as long
to be
as the prize,
it's a very good predictor of college enrollment. Our
as
quiz.
long as the prize is filled with coffee, I'm in.
Well, there we go. Well, we can work on that. Okay. So I'm going to give you a question and give you 4 choices. All right. We talked about baseball. It's baseball season now. We talked about Bob Bell and the Tornadoes and now the Bravehearts. And okay, so the Worcester actually had a professional team back in the day. It was called the Worcester Brown Stockings, and regular listeners of the show would know that we've done this. We've talked about this in the past. So the Worcester Brown Stockings played in the National League, and their claim to fame is a milestone in baseball. And I'm going to give you 4 potential milestones, and you tell me which one is their claim to fame, okay? First is the first no-hitter that was thrown in professional baseball by a pitcher, documented. The second one is the first triple play ever recorded and documented in a professional baseball game. The third is an in-the-park home run. The first time an in-the-park home run was hit. And the fourth one is the first use of all matching hats by players on a team.
Were they funny hats?
Wacky hats, crazy
Wacky
hats.
hats.
They had wacky nicknames, crazy nicknames. No, so they so I'll go in order again.
That's all right,
First
Jeff.
no hitter, first triple play, first inside the park home run, or first use of matching hats.
Obviously, number A, the first no-hitter, and do you know the name of the pitcher?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, do I get 4 choices?
Well,
you know
you
what?
might
I
win-
have read it. But I don't.
You might win a mug.
Hold on a second.
No coffee, though. No coffee.
I think I would know if it was like Babe Ruth.
Nope.
Because I know Babe Ruth was a pitcher who
Nope.
came up locally. Not locally, but he came up and played up this way. I'm going to give up.
I believe his name was Richmond. I believe.
First name or last name?
Last name. I don't recall his first name. But I'll give you another little trivia thing.
Yeah, I love this.
Ted Williams hit his first home run at Fitton Field.
That's right. I've got there's a famous picture of him, right?
Yep.
My little
So-
brother plays for Ted Williams Little League over
Yeah.
by the Commerce Bank field.
You played there?
No, my little brother does right now.
Nice.
So
There's
All
a
right.
lot of baseball history
Oh, a lot of
in
baseball
Worcester.
history in Worcester.
And the Bravehearts, I got to give a shout out to the Creedon family that own the team and do the catering. They do a great job. They're first class all the way. Their all-star game for the league is going to be in Worcester on the 13th of July.
Oh, nice.
And tickets are available right now. A little plug for them.
Yeah, no, this is
I'm a
great.
season ticket holder to the team. for
Well,
the
now I
league,
know
and
you can get right up close to
and
the action. And
it's a
one of the
perfect
guys,
place.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Sure.
How's that? There's a fellow on the team. I believe he's still on the team. Luke Brennan, is he still on the team? He was there last year.
I don't
Great
recall
local
if he's there.
player.
Yeah.
Captained and led Doherty High to both a football Super Bowl as a quarterback and is also a leading pitcher. He went to Franklin Pierce, I think.
Okay.
He's probably like a junior or a senior at Franklin Pierce and a great prospect as a pitcher. And so I wondered, I know he played last year with the Bravehearts.
I
don't know
haven't
if
seen
he's-
him pitch yet, but the season's still young.
Yeah.
He
Well, I
may
wonder
be
if-
on the roster. I don't know
And
for
I wonder if
certain.
maybe he may be off to
But
parts.
it's great. I met the president of the league last week at a press conference for the All-Star game, and he tells me this year 28 of their players in that league, the Futures Collegiate Baseball League,
Yeah.
were selected in the baseball draft.
Wow.
So, he's
It's
hopeful.
an opportunity. Yeah, these
He's
are up and
hopeful
coming.
Some of them may make the majors. It's rare, but they might.
Well, the next Ted Williams might be
And-
among these guys. That's the beauty of it. You never know.
And, of course, Chris Colabello played here in Worcester for the Tornadoes, and he's with Toronto these days. He started with Minnesota in the pros. So,
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I am a little bit disappointed that they haven't. I sent in my tape of me throwing the ball around the backyard.
yeah.
I thought for sure I was going to get a call. I'm still waiting. I don't know. Maybe they,
it's the inside pitch, Jeff. You gotta.
I got to work on. I got to turn the hips more.
You got to work
Joe,
on
I
it.
want to thank you so much for coming and chatting about where you're at now and how things are going. So everything else is going well?
It's great. Retirement is great. I just retired from the board of directors of the Webster Square Business Association after
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were
23
so-
years.
yep.
I'm a past president. So now, rather than go to board meetings at 8 in the morning, I get to sit in my backyard and sip coffee and watch the birds and the rabbits
Ah.
eat my garden and, just enjoy life.
That's what it's all about. So again, thank
Jeff,
you
thank
so
you
much
so
for being
much for
on.
having me. Sean
Appreciate it.
and everybody, Quasi,
your
great to be
job.
here.
So we're gonna turn now. We're gonna go over to another segment we're gonna do here. We do a mailbag here.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean, did you have the mailbag? Do we have the drop for that? Am I using the right lingo? Because I don't even.
I didn't know we were going to that next.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? We're supposed to go first. Before we do that, Joe, and you had mentioned about your first job and how important it was to learn information about. So we have a summer jobs program that'll be starting up later this month. Actually, starting next week. It's the Youth Works program. It's state funded, but we also receive funding from donors and from the city and others. It's run through the Worcester Community Action Council, and they do a great job of it. And it really helps bring young people, gives them a chance to get into that workplace, understand the workplace and what it's all about, and give opportunities for young people. I was reading a report just the other day from some researchers at Drexel University, that talk about without workplace experience, young people, they're at higher risk for getting into trouble. I mean, if they're not busy working, they're more downtime. And then B, if you are working, you have much stronger outcomes both for school and for future work. So it really leads to that building that foundation for future success. And there's so many reasons for it and all that, but unfortunately, youth hiring still lags quite a bit from about 10 or 12 years ago. In about the year 2000, it kind of hit its high mark of about 60% of teens would be working every summer, and now we're down, really about 33%.
Did they find out why that data manipulated stuff like that, or?
No, it just the part of it is just there's less jobs out there, and there's a number of reasons for that, including the advent of lean. You're not bringing a kid into the shop floor anymore because you have more competition now. Price-conscious competition, especially as it relates to like foreign competition. The manufacturing sector, as you know, runs very lean now compared to maybe years ago. And then you've also got the technology. You've got more self-service, robotics, and all that happening. So that's when we talk to your friends at WPI, and I want you to ask them how they feel about putting people out of work and whether they're proud of that or how they know.
They actually
I'm
have
obviously
this,
being facetious, but to an extent, there's the rise of robotic and self-service technology-based systems have impacted now to a significant amount. It's actually starting to really show up now. It's taking a bite out of employment, especially for young people. And then the third part is you've got more retirees that stay active longer in the job market part-time. They might be picking up a job, at the grocery store, at the the amusement park, at those places, at the ice cream stand, wherever. They're picking up a lot of jobs that teens would normally take during the summer or even year-round, and they're staying active and taking them. And, of course, as an employer, you're probably looking at it as, hey,